This is the Crossing Bridges podcast, addressing the topics of leadership, criminal justice, and fatherhood. How can we become better leaders? Where are all the daddies? Why is crime at an all-time high? Here is your host, Bayonle Arashi.
Thank you for tuning in to the Crossing Bridges podcast. Every Thursday is the upload day, and I'm always very excited to bring you the episode of the show every week. My name is Bayonle Arashi. You know what the show stands for, and if it is your first time tuning in or watching the video or watching the podcast, so to say, this is Crossing Bridges podcast. It is a podcast specifically designed to deal with the issue of lack of leadership in our community, in our society, in our country at large. It's a podcast designed also to deal with the issue of fatherlessness for leaders to come on the podcast to talk about issue of fatherlessness that is so huge in our society today. It is also a podcast that is designed to bring together thought leaders to think about how we can reduce crime in our society, because look around you everywhere, on the news, on the radio, in the newspaper, on the magazine, wherever you look, just take a look. Crime is at an all-time high in different parts of the world, but more especially in the United States. We have more people incarcerated, and that their life might never be the same again than those people that really have a lot of future ahead of them. Most of these people are men. In the state of Texas alone, over 250,000 of people are incarcerated. Over 250,000 folks are incarcerated in the state of Texas alone. Imagine the same numbers that we have across the other parts of the world. How can we wage war against this menace, against this cancer, against this plague that is ravaging our society, that is making things really different, that is really eating deep into what the core value of family stands for, into what America was created for, which is to stand with God at first, and then for family union to be together. The devil is waging war against the family union, against society, against young people, against fathers, against mothers, working things out with the father of their children, with their husband. Things are not looking up anywhere. Everywhere you look, it only takes the grace of God and self-discernment and continuous self-development to be able to come to terms with you not really lacking any form of motivation to want to continue daily. So welcome to the podcast. Every week on the show, I come here sometimes bringing you leaders that are doing something in the criminal justice system, in some form of leadership position, or people that are really willing to have impact in the world. They might not be doing it yet, but they have the capacity, they have the joy, they have the strength, they are willing to put in whatever it takes. And you, if you are out there and you have such zeal, you have such passion, you have such fire burning inside of you to put in something into the world, to put in some positivity into a very negative world that we have today, reach out to me and on any of my social media platforms at Bayonle Arashi, of course, or on my website at www.bayonlearashi.com. Let's get talking. Let's plan how we can bring you on the podcast to come and share your thoughts, to come and share your opinion, to come and share what you have learned or what you have been working on or how you are impacting the world. So welcome to the podcast. Today, it's going to be a very straightforward one. It is one of those episodes that is going to be straight from the heart of what I am thinking, of what I feel is going on, or what I see every day in my job as a correctional officer, in the community, in the society, on TV. I'm someone that is privileged to always seek for whatever I wish for, to always look for opportunity, to always gain knowledge. And I do this by reading books, by listening to messages from successful leaders of the past, Jim Rohn, one of them, Dr. Miles Monroe, late Dr. Miles Monroe, one of them, Les Brown, one of them, and so many more of these great leaders. Napoleon Hill, name them, people that I met through their work, people that I've met in person. The other day in Miami at the Priority Summit, I was very, very privileged to come across one of the most inspiring person that I've followed his work for over a decade now or more, in the person of Tony Robbins, standing right in front of me with his graceful self and talking for over an hour, sharing experience, sharing knowledge, sharing his pain, sharing his passion, making it look as if I can do it. And that's one of the things that always drive me to do what I am doing today. And I'm always asking myself, how do I pay it forward? All this opportunity, all this chance that I am seeing, how do I add value to other people that are out there looking for inspiration, looking for ideas, looking for somebody to tell them that they can do it, that their life has a meaning, that they can make a difference. And I'm addressing you today, that you, if you are listening to this podcast for the first time, or you are a returning listener, or you are watching on YouTube for the first time, please believe in yourself. Believe that you can do it. Believe that your life has a meaning. Believe that there is nothing impossible for you. I have also thought about it, that how can I get this message better? Writing books, going to elementary, middle, and high school to share experience, to share some of the things I have learned over the past 4 decades that I've been blessed with to live on this planet, and what I have learned in my job, coming from a background of a broadcaster while I was back home in Nigeria, coming to the United States, changing a career totally and not looking at the odds being against me and doing what I have to do to get to where I am today. It has not been an easy journey, but like I said, this podcast and whatever you hear on this podcast, it is not hearsay. It is not just a thought. It is from someone that has put what he is sharing and what he is saying into practice. You can do anything. So today, the title of the podcast is going to be The What If Game. Yes, the what if game. Have you ever thought about playing that game with yourself before? It is a very, very, very interesting thing that you have to start giving a thought to. What if I can't make it? What if life doesn't seem the way I want it to look like? What if my dad was not in my life while I was growing up? What if my mom walked away? What if I could not finish my high school education? What if I was once incarcerated because of a mistake I made as a teenager and was sentenced to prison for it to spend some years? What if you believe in that career so much and you thought that is what is going to make you somebody in life, but did not turn out to be so? What if? The what if game. How many times have you asked yourself this question? The difference between you thinking about the what if game in the negative way and also thinking about it, switching your mind, switching your thought, switching your mindset, switching your orientation, reorientating yourself from that negative part of what if game to the positive one is all you need. You have to stop thinking about the what if game in a negative term. What if my mom walked away in my life? What if my dad was not in my life? What if I decided to use that as a form of strength, as a form of courage for myself to say, I will not repeat this pattern? What if your father was polygamy? What if you tell yourself that because your father was a polygamy, had multiple wives, what if you promise yourself and promise your children that you will not repeat the same? What if your father had many kids from different baby mamas? What if you promise yourself that that will be your own point of contact to not repeat the same pattern, to give your children that mental focus, that confidence that they have nobody they are competing with for their father and for their mother? What if that career you think you cannot make it in? What if it is also a way for you to catapult you to do something in that same game? For example, you want to be a soccer player and somehow you sustain a very serious career-ending injury that did not allow you to continue to play the game. What if you decided to go for a coaching license and establish your own soccer academy, or start scouting for a professional club by starting small and then start growing from there? What if you decided to use technology to your advantage and start making the necessary change in your own life? What if nobody in your family has never finished high school, but you decided that I have this opportunity? I live in the United States or wherever you live, whatever country you live in, and say to yourself, I am going to use that as a form of example, as a prime example to myself, as a form of inspiration to tell others that if I just switch my mind from that negative motion and switch it to the positive one, I can change my life around in a second. Tony Robbins said it very, very, very well in one of his greatest books that you need to find and read. He said you can switch your mind from a negative position to a positive thought by simply stop thinking about the negative thought and replacing it with something positive immediately. That is how fast you can change the pattern of your life. He calls it changing of pattern of thought, pattern of thinking, pattern of life, pattern of doing things. All you have to do is just a switch, and it goes from negative to positive. There is so many what if games that you can play with yourself, but you have to continue to dig in deep, to continue to look at things that are negative and switching it to positive immediately. Everything that is available to us in the negative way is also available to us in a positive way. In the book written by the great Napoleon Hill, which is called Winning Through Positive Thinking Attitude, he had a lot of thoughts in there. He said in one of them, he said, your mind is your invisible talisman. He said there's a letter called PMA, which definitely means positive mental attitude. They are all emblazoned on one side, and there is also another one called NMA, which is the negative mental attitude. That one is in the right is the right mental attitude for each specific occasion. It has the power to attract the good and the beautiful, while the NMA, which is a negative one, repels those positive and thought of good. It is a negative mental attitude that robs you of all self-question. How can I develop a right mental attitude? By simply thinking right thought, by simply believing there is nothing that you cannot do, by simply believing that if you are willing to put in the work, we are not just talking about it, it has been proven over and over and over. So many people have broken so many laws, so many rules that human beings have created by simply daring to go the extra mile. In the book You Can't Hurt Me by the great David Goggins, not many people think David Goggins can go from weighing over 300 pounds to becoming a U.S. Navy SEAL. I think it was his 26th African-American U.S. Navy SEAL. Many of us have no idea what it takes to become a Navy SEAL. This man beat so many odds from someone that goes to wait for clubs to finish work at night and then go there to spray for cockroaches and take away all those things from fast food restaurant to a U.S. Navy SEAL. It is not impossible. You can do it. Anyone can do it, but it takes work. Nobody needs to tell you, or nobody needs to give you any fast formula on how it can be done. I that I'm privileged for you to be listening to today, I hope you still listening up to this stage, because if you are, that means you definitely believe in your life changing. You believe in investing in your own life. You believe you are the only one that can change the course of your own life. And you can do it. You definitely can do it. You can do it by just changing your thoughts and by playing the what if game for yourself in the right direction. I'm going to take a short break now, and I'll be right back to continue.
How can we become better leaders? Where are all the daddies? Why is crime at an all-time high?
Welcome back. As I was saying earlier, in that book written by Tony Robbins titled Awaken the Giant Within, I really urge you to get a copy of that book. It's a big book. It's almost as big as encyclopedia. But if you read that book, your life will never be the same. He shared some very powerful information, some very powerful secret from someone that his parents had to be offered food on the eve of a Christmas to someone flying his own jet, his own private jet. This man has gone on to speak and coached several United States presidents, vice presidents, business executive, and so on and so forth. And how did he come from that more or less messed up state to a very successful person in a gap of a specific amount of years? He did not arrive there overnight, because definitely there's no overnight success. If you have not had it before, absolutely there is no overnight success. But it has always been proven that if you are willing to put in the work, if you are willing to do the hard work, your life can change drastically. Your life can change dramatically. You can change the way you look. You can change your financial state. You can change your association, but you have to be willing to put in the work. I also quoted a book written by Napoleon Hill titled Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude, which he shared some couple of pilots. And maybe I can do my best to give you a couple of them within the next few minutes that I'm going to be here. He said you should meet the most important person living, and that person is you. You are the most important person living. Your success, your health, your happiness, your wealth depend on how you use invisible talisman. That invisible talisman, you have to ask yourself, how am I going to use it? The choice is simply yours. But in every one of us, the most important person living is us. I am the most important person living today, and I have to continue to believe in that every day. I have to continue to use whatever God has given me, which is the resource that are within my capacity right now, because God or creator or whatever you believe in, as long as you believe that there is some form of power that is above all of us, will never come down physically to give us something and say, okay, this is it. He's going to use the resource that you have. He's actually not going to use what you have lost. Maybe you've lost your job. Maybe you've lost your family. You've lost your spouse. You've lost your car. He's not going to use none of that. He's going to use whatever you have left. Maybe all you have left. Like Dwayne Johnson Rock is just $7. I'm sure you probably have the story of Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. All he had left was $7 in his pocket after he has failed as a football player, an American football player. He thought it was all over for him. But today, just imagine where he is at. He is so big that some folks are actually talking him into going and to contest for the position of the United States president. That's how famous Dwayne Johnson has come, from only having $7 to his name to becoming one of the wealthiest, one of the richest, and one of the most influential men today on the planet Earth. How did he come to that? Simply by switching from that messed up mode, from that negative mode, from that I don't have anything, but this is all I have, to believing that if he's willing to put in the work, if he's willing to work hard, if he's willing to work his butt off, that he is going to be successful. And he did. He is always willing to share his story. If you have not heard any of his story before, just Google Dwayne Johnson motivation or The Rock motivation. There are several of his videos, several of his testimonies, several of his messages online, sharing and doing good for the human race. He is a father to his children. He is a happy man today. I will also share one of the things that is in that book, Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude, which says you should not blame God for your lack of success. You can develop a burning desire to succeed. How? You want to ask me? You have to keep your mind on things you want and off the things you do not want. As simple as that. By just simply keeping your mind on what you want. People think it is hard. People think it is so difficult, but it is not. If you are willing to put in the work, if you are willing to switch something as simple as what he said, if you are willing to keep your mind on the things that you want, on those positive things, and just keep your mind off the ones you don't want, as simple as that. God is not the one responsible for our failure. He is there. He is an equal. He is a just God. I believe in God, and I'm always willing. And it's one of the things I promise that whatever status or level he takes me to in life, I will always share. I will always say, if not for God, I will not be here. Because one day, I really hope, as you keep listening to my podcast, you get to meet me in person one of these days and listen to my story. I will be willing to share with you, and I believe I will still share with the world in a positive way very, very soon. But those are the things that are very possible for you. Also, life is short. You might think you have so much time, but you don't. So every minute, you must make it count. Every day, you must make it count. You're walking around like you can waste all your day and then you are coming back to try again. No, you're not coming back. This is the only life that you have. This is the only one that you got. So you have to make the best use of it. You have to do all within your capacity to become someone, and know that every adversity has the seed of an equivalent or even greater benefit for those of us who have a positive mental attitude. Sometimes the things that seem to be adversities turn out to be just a form of way for it to be like a direction for it to lead us to our greater purpose, our greater calling in life. I've shared with you many, many times on the podcast that having a purpose in life is one of the best things that the Lord Almighty can do for you. Just need a mindset change, and your life will never be the same. I will take another short break now, and I will be right back, hopefully, to give you some more nuggets to inspire you and for me to say goodbye for the day.
How can we become better leaders? Where are all the daddies? Why is crime at an all-time high?
Welcome back. There are some very basic questions. I'm going to give you just 3 of them as I round off this episode of the podcast today, which, by the way, is the episode 16 of the Crossing Bridges podcast. I am so excited, and I hope you are really as excited as I am, that something that was just a thought a couple of months ago, today, thankfully, is recording the 16th episode. And I'm very sure this podcast will go very far. It will be listened to by thousands and then millions and hopefully billions of people sometimes very, very soon. But 3 questions that I believe, if you give it a thought, if you give it a chance, can really change the perspective. It can change the way your life is currently moving right now. And one of them is to ask yourself this question: what am I really good at? You might not be able to answer this question by yourself, and that's why you have people around you. That's why you have friends. That's why you have family. Asking yourself this question of what am I really good at? What can I do? If you don't have a direct answer to it, pick up a pen, start talking to your friends around you. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter your location. There is a gift that is of God that is inside every one of us, planted inside of us planted into our DNA from the day our mom got pregnant with us. From the day we became that seed in our mother's womb, that gift was planted. Every human being on this planet Earth has it. But unfortunately, it is not every one of us. Actually, it is less than 10% of us, according to many, many philosophers, according to many great people that have lived, that ever live to their full potential. One of my mentors, Dr. Miles Monroe, said, when human beings use more than 5% of their brain, people call them genius. That means this brain that we have has unlimited capacity. But because we do not do some basic things right, we think life is hard. So ask yourself this question: what am I really good at? And as I said, if you can answer this question by yourself, call people around you. They will tell you. They will tell you have a gift of music. They will tell you have a gift of playing sports. They will tell you have the gift of talking. You can be one of those people that love to talk like me. But what do you want to do with that gift of talking? What do you want to talk about? Do you want to be a political commentator? You want to be a sport commentator? You want to be a newscaster? You want to be a podcaster? You want to be a reporter? There are so many. Or you want to be a motivational speaker? You want to inspire other people through your gift. But there is every one of us that have that gift. Once you are able to answer this question of what am I really good at, the next available question for you will be, what do I enjoy most about my work? There's something that you also do that you do very, very well, that you can do. That thing that you can do, that even if you are not paid for it, you keep doing it. If nobody says, oh, well done there, you don't worry about it. You keep at it and you keep doing it. If nobody gives you any kudos, you keep doing it. There is so much every one of us can do, but you have to ask yourself that question: what do I enjoy most about my work? Find that niche, find that area, find that question, answer that question. If it takes you days, if it takes you hours, if it takes you months, but don't let it take you years, because like I said, you don't have time. You do not have that much time. Ask this question quickly and get into action quickly. So the first question again is to ask yourself or ask people around you, what am I really good at? The second question is, what do I enjoy most about my work? The final one, which I'm going to give to you for today, is what has been most responsible for my success. No matter how much it is that you think you have not had any form of success in your life, it only takes that moment for you to sit back and relax and dig deep and ask yourself, what have I done in my life that I've had some form of success in? You have had success in some things, but because we do not appreciate the little things that God gives us, something as simple as your life, the fact that you are listening to this or you are watching this is a blessing. The fact that you have the capacity to be able to have a phone or a laptop or a TV to be able to watch or listen to this is a blessing. The fact that you have an eyes to watch this on YouTube is a blessing. The fact that you have ears that can listen to what I'm saying clearly is a blessing. There is a blessing in everything that happens to us, but it takes that moment of reflection to be able to figure it out, that what am I thankful for? What should I be thankful for? There is so much to be thankful for. There is so much to be thankful for. I really hope this resonates with you. And as I say every time on the show, if you are out there, you serve in any form of leadership, or you are a leader of any youth organization, elementary, middle, or high school, and you work with young people, I would love to come share my message with them. I would love to come share some of my experience with them. All you have to do is to reach out to me on all social media platforms at Bayonle Arashi, or on my website at www.bayonlearashi.com. Together, we can have a better society that is less of crime. We can have our fathers staying home to raise their kids. we can have the next generation of leaders in different sectors, name it, sports, politics, entertainment. And that's my own legacy. That's what I hope I can leave behind. It's been my pleasure bringing this episode to you. Till I see you guys again, God willing, next week. It's been an amazing time with you guys. And I hope you guys continue to build on your dream, find your purpose, and I'm always rooting for you.
Thank you for listening to the Crossing Bridges podcast with Bayonle Arashi. Your comments, suggestions, and ideas are welcomed. Follow Bayonle on all social media platforms at Bayonle Arashi or visit www.bayonlearashi.com for coaching and speaking engagements. See you next time.